I'm Jonathan Avila. Here I have 5 images. The first one is of a bus bench. Second one is a table and bench. Third is of an armchair. Fourth is outside dining seats, and the fifth is a lawn chair. So for comfort, I gave the bus bench a 3. It's made out of metal. It's not very comfortable. It has no armrests. For the bus bench, the table and bench, I gave it a 3 as well. Same thing, made out of metal. No back support on this one, and also no armrest. I guess you could lean forward, but still made of metal, uncomfortable. For the armchair, I gave it a 7. You can see it has a backrest, has cushions and armrest, so that's why I gave it a 7. The outside dining seats, I gave it a 5. I sat on these before. Well, I sat on all of these, but the outside dining seats, these are, in my experience, more comfortable than the other two, even if they're made out of metal, because they got the backrest as well. And for the lawn chair, I gave it a 6. It has an armrest and back support as well, such as why I gave it a 6. For cost, I gave the bus bench a 7. It's pretty big and made of metal, so I assume it costs more than the rest of these chairs. For the table and bench, I gave it a 5. It's also made of metal, looks pretty heavy. Maybe it's hard to ship, so I gave it a 5. Looks more expensive than the rest. For the armchair, I give it a 4, even though it's more comfortable. It's not as heavy, it's not made of metal, so I assume it costs less than these other ones. It's also smaller than the other two. And for the outside dining seats, I gave it a 3 in cost because I'm just considering one of these chairs, and I don't think they're very expensive, even if they're made of metal. It's smaller than the other 3 as well, and I just think it costs less due to those reasons. For the lawn chair, I give it a 2. It's plastic. Its whole selling point is affordability. That's why I gave it a 2. It's cheap. For environmental impact, I gave the bus bench a 3. I think even though it's made of metal, and I'm pretty sure it harms the environment when making bus benches. These things, they're made of metal. They're made to last. You're not going to be replacing these very often, which is why I gave it a 3. For the bus bench, the table and bench, I get same reason. I give it a 4 because they're not as big as the bus bench, but also you won't. It's made of metal as well. You won't be needing to replace these that often. For the armchair, I give it a 6 because it's not made of metal. These things they'll deteriorate, they'll rip open, all that sort of stuff, and so you'll have to replace armchairs more often. For the outside dining seats, I gave it a 4. You're not going to have to replace these very often. They're just they are made of metal, so again, it's probably not helping the environment, but you're not going to have to keep buying new ones every time they break. They'll last a while. The lawn chair, I gave it a 9. It's made of plastic. They break easily and often because they're also cheap, so if they break, just get a new one. For safety, I gave the bus bench a 7, and really the only reason I did that is because it gives them shade. I guess you do have some back support with this the metal thing on the back, so I guess it helps your back. It keeps you safe from shade, or safe from the sun, I mean. So it's not that bad. For the table and bench, I gave it a 4. 4, because there's no back support. It'll hurt your back. The seat's not comfortable. It'll hurt you. But that's why I give it a 4. For the armchair, I give it a 6. It's comfortable. It's an armrest. You won't be falling off. Your back won't be hurting. So it's pretty comfortable, and due to that, it'll help your back, help your. I guess you just won't be harming your body as much as compared to the others, or compared to the armchair. For the outside dining seats, I gave it a 6 as well. That's back support, so you won't be hurting your back. It is made of metal, but I think it's still pretty safe, all things considered. Same thing with the lawn chair. I don't know how you're hurting yourself on a lawn chair. I guess it could break, but as it is, normally you won't really be getting hurt. It's got armrest, back support. You shouldn't be really hurting yourself on a lawn chair. Sustainability, I gave bus bench a 7. You're not going to be, like I said, for the environmental impact, you're not replacing this very often. It's metal. Same thing with a table and bench. You're not going to be replacing this very often. For the armchair, I can see this ripping, tearing, all sorts of stuff. So you'll have to be replacing this not very often, but often enough compared to the rest. For the outside dining seats, it looks more fragile than the other two metal seats. So I gave it a 5. You still won't have to be replacing it that often though. For this lawn chair, I gave it a 2. It's made out of plastic. You're going to be breaking this. Well, most likely it's going to be breaking. It's made out of plastic. It's not going to last. For social impact, I gave the bus bench a 6 because it's waiting for the bus. It'll take you somewhere in a bus. You'll meet people. Guess it helps foster a community, I guess. And 8 for this table and bench. You can sit here, sit with your friends, eat food, things like that. It's meant for multiple people, so I give it an 8. For this armchair, I give it a 0. These in the Hayden Library, they're always separate. Very rarely are they facing each other, so I give it, you're not here to interact with others. You're here to sit down, get your homework done, and not really interact with others. For the dining seats, I gave it a 7 because of this. You're the dining seat, so you're eating lunch here with friends or other people. I assume friends. And for the lawn chair, I give it a 4. This one's alone, but usually they're cheap, so you could buy multiple of them. And usually I see these at like family gatherings. They're so cheap, and you'd buy enough for your friends and family. For function, I gave the bus bench an 8. Or it's meant for waiting for the bus. It got shade. It basically serves a purpose. For the table and bench, I gave it a 7. It serves a purpose as well, and I guess maybe to eat your lunch or just sit here and maybe do something on your computer. Gave it a 7. The armchair, I gave it an 8. I guess it's here to. I guess here for your comfort mostly, an armchair because the cushions, and I guess it gives you a lot of versatility in what you want to use it for. But its main purpose is just to give you comfortable spot to sit, and I think it does that pretty well. The outside dining seats, I gave it a 5. They're not comfortable. But your main purpose is there to sit and eat lunch or just do whatever you have to do right here. So I give it a 5. It's not the best, but could be worse. For the lawn chair, I give it a 6. Again, the function has to be cheap. You're using it to sit. It's made of plastic. You're not really caring about looks or anything. You're just here for a seat. And it gives you that. For aesthetics, I gave the bus bench a 2. They're not very good looking. They're kind of ugly, made of metal, dark colors. It's just not very sightly. For the table and bench, same thing. Well, I think newer ones look better. This one's kind of old, but that's why I gave it a 4 and not a 2. But it's still made of metal. It's still something, I don't know, you see at schools or maybe even prisons. It's not very fun to look at. For the armchair, I give it an 8. It's colorful. It looks comfortable. It's visually appealing. For those reasons, I gave it an 8. The outside dining seats, I gave it a 7. Even though it's made of metal, it's kind of like I don't know what it's called, but it's like a shiny metal, I guess. It looks nice. Has a nice appearance overall. And for the lawn chair, I give it a 2. It's not very sightly. It's made of plastic again. Yep, that's it.